Dear Grace, before you, I wrote a series of letters to Tony Hinchcliffe. Definitely not with the same tone. Nor the same purpose. Most of those letters I just used the automated, I can't play that, use the digital voice. But since I'm getting tired of reading the news, I'm going to read you this instead. Oh, this was, I don't want to say almost a year ago, because I can't handle that much longer. Nothing in me, completely fasted, no coffee, no weed, no nothing, just water. It's for Tabitha. Actually, maybe, before I read this, I uploaded a couple of photos to ChatGPT. The first one was of my feet. Where the hell did that go? So I uploaded a picture of my feet. Nothing too weird, but the angle that the photo was taken confused ChatGPT, and it automatically thought I was looking for medical help, which that part doesn't surprise me, because once this is released, I'm sure everyone's going to be scanning in or taking pictures of every mole I have and asking ChatGPT if it's cancer, because they don't want to have to go to the doctor and go through the fucking hassle, which I understand. Anyways, ChatGPT, based on that photo, thought it looks like you have a significant swelling in your left foot compared to your right foot. This could be due to a variety of reasons, such as injury, infection, or an underlying medical condition. Oh yeah, lots of applause breaks today, and they're going to be loud ones. That's what I need. Build the ego up. Anyways, if you were watching the video, you just saw a guy with oven mitts put a leash on his dog. Can't make that shit up. You need stand-up comedy. Just look around. Everything's fucking funny. Anyways, ChatGPT. This could be due to a variety of reasons, such as an injury, infection, or underlying medical condition. It's important to monitor the swelling and any other symptoms you may have, such as pain, redness, or warmth in affected areas. All it was just the angle of the photo. Then it gives me lots of advice, blah, blah, blah. So I put a picture of my old shoes up, or the last pair of shoes I had. And this image shows a pair of black athletic shoes with gray and orange accents. They are placed on a concrete surface, likely outdoors. The shoes appear to be in worn condition, with visible wear on the inner soles. The surrounding area, including some dirt and patch of grass, suggesting the shoes might have been used for outdoor activities. That's pretty accurate. I would say. That would read that picture pretty well. So anyways, Grace, we'll go back to reading. August 20th, 2023. use my serious voice today, Grace. I'll read this like a journalist. I'll read this like a journalist. It's too cheap to buy his own internet and using the libraries, even though it's by a really noisy train. Sound good, Grace? This might be my last episode, Grace. I'm getting sick and tired of this fucking shit. August 20th, 2023. Dear Tony, my apologies for not writing sooner and updating you on becoming the world's greatest comedian. I was sidetracked, thinking about reincarnation. I forgot about these letters, Grace, but you'll see how they go. I'm not a scientist, Tony. I only believe in what I can see, touch, smell, taste, hear, or calculate. I don't believe in what I feel, Tony. I only believe in logic. By calculate, I mean prove mathematically without a doubt. 2 apples plus 2 more apples equals 4 apples. End of story. I'm not interested in the spiritual side of reincarnation. I'm interested in the math. How it works scientifically is something nobody can explain. How it works physically in the body is unknown. Everything about reincarnation is unprovable, but believe, Tony. I don't understand the logic or reasoning. I understand why they created religions around it, or why some religions believe and others do not. However, like reincarnation, religion is calculable. I understand everyone on earth wants answers from our existence, where we came from, why we are here, and do we have a soul, or not. But why are we guessing? Anyone reading this, Tony, will probably say that's where faith is needed, which is understandable, but not logical. However, if I'm anything, Tony, it's subjective. To deny billions of people their belief is not my purpose. I like the idea. I simply wish someone on earth could either prove or disprove it, so we can move forward. Does that make sense, Tony? Or do I sound illogical? I'm not a historian, Tony. I'm nothing but a high school dropout with a hope to become a comedian, marry the woman of my dreams, have children if possible, or adopt, and live the rest of our lives helping others to laugh as hard and often as we will together for the rest of our lives. Is this too much to ask? In my opinion, I don't need reincarnation or karma cleansing to achieve my personal goals. I simply need to be my honest self and keep an eye out for the woman of my dreams, or in my dreams. Nonetheless, if reincarnation is true, it does explain the progression of humanity on Earth, maybe. Nobody on the planet knows when civilization started. Every time a new bone fragment from some other human-like species is discovered beside a clay pot and the data set back. Probably a good thing those trains don't have drivers, because I think they'd go insane listening to that all day long. Anyway, how far back do we go, Tony? And is reincarnation only for our current version of human? Ask these questions to a spiritual leader or the internet, and every response is theoretical, no proof. Yet, the same can be said for many scientific discoveries. I shouldn't, and I don't discount their claims or belief, only their approach. Their approach is always mystical. I wish they would approach it from a more practical viewpoint, like how will this knowledge benefit mankind and man? This is why I believe reincarnation is true. If it exists, it's to benefit the individual, which in turn benefits mankind. My belief is reincarnation's purpose is not for teaching. My belief is reincarnation's purpose is not for teaching us a lesson or to work off bad karma. That's an ignorant assumption. This is what I believe, Tony. This is what I believe, Tony. We, the majority of humans on Earth, have reached our pinnacle of intelligence and knowledge we can attain on our own. We need help, or we need to begin to work together as a planet, not as nations or individuals. I say pinnacle, Tony, because throughout history, the individuals who advanced technology were often the misfits of science, not the educated scientists who follow rigorous rules and procedures. Newton is considered a father of physics, but was probably suffering from mercury poisoning. Do we care? Did we care back then? No, it advanced the science of physics, and that is his contribution, regardless if his body was being slowly poisoned or not. But was Newton reincarnated? And if yes, what if any of his previous lives did he remember, either consciously or subconsciously? We don't know because we don't study reincarnation. We see no value in understanding the physical aspect, because there's no commercial value in proving it right or wrong. Nobody wins. I say we are at our pinnacle, Tony, because all I see is the same people trying to make the same discoveries independent of others, with one exception, CERN. I might change my mind on that one right now, Grace, but we'll see. I believe the individuals who conceived, created, and convinced governments to spend billions of dollars on building a particle collider are working together to solve a mystery of great importance, and I hope they achieve their goals. My issue is their discoveries, if they finally make them, will not immediately change humanity. If it's true, this is how I believe reincarnation works. First, I don't believe the concept we reincarnate both as sentient and less sentient animals. Maybe I'm wrong, but the logic doesn't add up. Especially the concept of reincarnating back and forth between various forms of life. To me, it's an illogical path and unlikely. I could see the point of maybe slowly reincarnating from a fly to a chimp, but again, why? What do I learn as a fly that helps me as a starving chimp in Africa? I see all the great apes as fully sentient, Tony. I'm not sure they possess past memories from past lives, but I believe they have both the intelligence and capacity to learn, especially over generations. If I was the inventor of reincarnation and I came to Earth at the time of whatever great apes existed, I would start with those species, all of them, all over the planet, and then sit back and watch. Starting reincarnation at this point seems logical, Tony, if the past lives are fully remembered. Now I can begin to understand or even promote the concept. Now, if I think of a gorilla learning a new hunting or foraging skill in one lifetime, and remember it during the next lifetime as a gorilla, to be both beneficial is logical. Additionally, it's funny, inside the library would be a perfect place to record, but everyone wants it so quiet. Don't talk in the library, blah, blah, blah. Additionally, if all lifetimes start from one source and continue down the same path to human, it explains the massive variety of species at one point in time on this planet. Obviously, at some point in evolution, all these various species were able to procreate and eventually merge into the various forms we see today, into reincarnation and evolution melting pot, modern human. I'm probably wrong, Tony. I can't prove this theory. It simply makes sense to me. It's logical and explains a variety of previous forms of humans. Or hominids, whatever. Imagine the advantage of retaining the memories of your previous life, Tony. This is partly why I don't believe if I die tomorrow, wake up as a new baby with all my memories intact. All I can say is I pity my parents, especially in our current era. Imagine the advantage of retaining the memories from your previous life, Tony. This is partly why I don't believe. If I die tomorrow, wake up as a new baby with all my memories intact, all I can say is I pity my parents, especially in our current era. Why would I need to go to school, Tony, if I have my previous memories, knowledge and intelligence intact? Sure, maybe I should go back and finish the last year of high school, but how? When I'm 3 and can speak and write? Or wait 15 years so I'm the same age as the other students to make them not feel uncomfortable around a 3-year-old in their class? Or am I still forced to take the GED when I could ace most high school examinations at 3 years of age? This scenario doesn't work for modern humans. If it did, after a few reincarnations, we would all be geniuses, and clearly we are not. I'm not sure a genius exists on Earth at all today. Elon Musk is a genius for navigating society, but he's no Tesla, another mental health case. However, go back a million years, and the concept of reincarnation not only makes logical sense, it serves a practical purpose to advance both the species and the planet. Now imagine this scenario, Tony. Who or whatever created, started, implanted, or maybe sent reincarnation to our world understands this concept. I'm going to go right through the applause break. They understand worlds grow into a vastness of animal life, but none of it is sentient. But none of it's sentient. Because nothing changes. They eat the same foods or kill the same prey for thousands of years. And slowly evolve, but only into other eating, shitting, and fucking biological entities, never into a life form we now live. If my concept is true, Tony, I don't care where or who invented reincarnation. To me, this theory makes sense. However, on this planet, any theory about life must first pass our own internal filters regarding gods or aliens, neither of which I believe exist, or they're one and the same. I'll buy either argument. However, for the sake of my theory and my argument, the source is irrelevant. I'm happy if the origin is unknown. Back to the jungle, Tony. I prefer the concept reincarnation started at the apes. Something happened and every animal on the planet who qualifies for sentience now has had the ability to remember their past lives completely, the full photographic memory recall. With this one change of biology, the planet is now able to advance. The orangutan who eats a big unknown piece of food and dies nearly instantly will remember the experience the next time. The problem, of course, is when they return in the next orangutan life, can they communicate how and why they died without a language? In their next life, when they see that same plant or animal that killed them, what can they do? Jump up and down, wave their long arms? How do you initiate the first attempts at communication? Or maybe they try to throw the food away or destroy it before the other orangutans eat it. Looks like a little I forget what it's called. No, it's not bad background music. That's gonna annoy me. Alright, music's still in the background, but this is a little bit better. Alright. Or maybe they try to throw the food away or destroy it before other orangutans eat it. Or slap it out of their hands, which, based on my knowledge of the primate world, would probably cause a fight, if not a beating to death. Although, if he/she died from the beating, it would be the second important thing to remember about that food source when reincarnating. Don't eat this and find a better way to inform others also not to eat the food unless they want to die. It's really the only information which is important to remember. Where the beast used to shit or sleep is unimportant, even if it was the Garden of Eden. I see a couple of problems in this scenario, Tony, or at least two options for when you reincarnate. At this stage of evolution, I would probably think it would be better to reincarnate within your same family, / troop, / colony, and everything you remember would be useful to you and your previous family and friends, and together you would all evolve the knowledge at some sort of continual pace. I mean, one is knowledgeable about food, safety, and others a great hunter, one is good with understanding fire, etc. You get the picture, Tony. The other alternative, though, is after that first death, you reincarnate into another species of great ape, maybe on the other side of the earth where the food source doesn't even exist. Or maybe it exists, but someone already knows not to eat it and know how to inform the tribe to avoid it. Any possible scenario is now available. Either scenario would advance evolution on the planet equally, in my opinion. You continue to If you continue this path for a few thousand years, a few things would expected. Problem with breeding grace is keeping the correct amount of saliva in your mouth. Too much doesn't work and too little doesn't work. If I'm lucky, all these applause breaks should make this come right down to 1 hour. If you continued this path for a few thousand years, a few things would be expected to happen, I think, Tony. I could easily see that first person becoming some sort of medicine man, slowly accumulating knowledge about their flora and fauna, including how to process and use for healing. Logically, the apes would eventually use tools and weapons to both protect and advance their tribes, while other tribes may use those newly developed weapons against other tribes or to hunt large animals. Any of these progressions in either basic needs or fostering and caring for the young of the group would increase their population and individual strength. By feeding their community with less effort, the amount of free time for the hunters to plan their next hunt, relax, or fuck each other would increase. The ability to plan their next meal instead of desperately looking daily would ignite the creative juices too, I think, Tony. Or maybe I'm wrong. I know your friend Joe Rogan likes the stoned ape theory as the cause of human brain evolution expansion, but if the size of the brain has a relationship with the level of knowledge or ability stored within the gray matter, my theory also works. Each reincarnation requires a slightly larger brain, maybe only 1 cubic millimeter bigger each time, nothing noticeable unless you tracked it over 100,000 years. I think it's equally plausible as the magic mushroom concept, Tony. Although I do like the idea of great apes tripping their balls off on mushrooms. Or maybe it's both. Maybe the shaman ape, since he's doing them for hundreds of reincarnations, understands and can handle the effects without freaking out. However, everyone else has bad trips and avoids them like the plague. Or in this case, like the lions. Or whatever can kill an ape beside other apes and us. I have a theory, which I haven't named yet, Although I'll probably use something with my name in it, like physicists. I'm not sure why they feel the need to use their names for equations, Tony. It seemed illogical for a group of individuals trying to determine the nature of the universe. I would have expected more technical or descriptive names. Schrodinger equations and wormholes mean nothing to normal humans. What is a Schrodinger? And how do worms make holes in space? I would have expected some more technical or descriptive names. Schrodinger equations and wormholes mean nothing to normal humans. What is a Schrodinger, and how do worms make holes in space? I'll temporarily call it the Gervais philosophy of reincarnation. Why not pump my old ego? I got multiple last names, Grace. I believe GPR also explains both the development and variety of languages spoken around the world. Eventually, some ape turned a grunt into a hi, or a long hum into I love you. The concept and the words, Tony. It also explains why some aspects of humans are universal. Laughing, crying, screaming in pain or fear sound the same in every human. You can't tell a heritage from hearing a person laugh. At least I can, Tony. Maybe you can. You are the professional when it comes to laughter. Multiply GPR by a few 100,000 years, and I'm not surprising we evolved as we have, both in body and mind. Would my previous chimp hand be able to type 100 words a minute? I doubt they possess the physical dexterity. Although to be fair, they would have the strength to crush my head like a peanut, and sometimes I have to push hard to break a peanut shell open. So I'm not sure which is better when you're hungry. With GPR, history begins to make sense. The rise and fall of humanity would naturally occur as various nations develop technologies to kill or help each other. Then at some point, before they invented telescopes and a method in math to track asteroids or comets heading towards Earth, they were wiped out by an impact and forced to start over. A setback, but not the end of humanity. That's what I need, Grace, a little tricycle like that. However, noon hour rush of trains, I guess. However, when all those wiped out are returned via reincarnation, they have a chance to plan for the next big one and come up with a possible solution. Maybe live underground, or live partially underground. If I'm correct, Tony, this explains why there are large underground man-made caverns around the world. It may even explain the large complexes governments continue to build underground and fail to inform their citizens regarding of their existence. Or maybe the politicians are just cunts and planning on using those hollowed out mountains for themselves. I don't care, Tony. If an asteroid hits, I'll look it dead in the eyes. I suspect you're wondering, Tony, if GPR is true, then why don't you currently have access to our past memories? This is where the limit of the human brain comes into play. With all these reincarnations, we fill up our capacity quicker than we can expand our brains. Language, education, the printing press, all filled our memory banks lifetime after lifetime, till there's no more room to learn, and only the ability to live remained. At this point in our history, our past lives became more like our subconscious. The memories are there, but we are not sure how to access them directly, or they are there but combined into something I'll call reincarnated morals. The past lives become a part of your thought process and your personality, whether you like it or not. I believe this is our current predicament, which on a whole isn't a problem. Life is pretty good on this planet for a majority of the population, but not everyone. The one achievement no race, nation, or species has ever accomplished on Earth is an accurate record of history, Tony. I think it's impossible via the written word. As a professional writer yourself, I think you would agree words are open for interpretation. As a comedian, you strive for the perfect word in a bit for the biggest laugh, correct? I might go sign up for the stop smoking program, Grace, just for the free patches. Well, to be fair, reading doesn't really take a lot of skill. I'm going to read this again, just in case Tony ever listens to this, it'll bump his ego, like he needs it. I think it's impossible via the written word. As a professional writer yourself, I think you would agree words are open for interpretation. As a comedian, you strive for the perfect word in a bit for the biggest laugh, correct? Because you are a writer, you understand the power of each word, the impact it has on the next and the previous. You control your audience laughter accordingly as you please. You are their laughter puppet master for the minutes you are on stage. However, how well do you think your comedy or Jared Nathan's will be remembered in history if there's only a written account of it in a language not used for 200 generations? Would you or Jared still be funny? What if there are no artistically globally delayed people in 200 generations? Can you as a writer accurately describe Jared? I couldn't. I would try, but without seeing, hearing, and feeling his performance, it's lost in history. I don't believe in history because at some point someone invented fiction, but didn't bother to label it as fiction. Try that again. I don't believe in history because at some point someone invented fiction, but didn't bother to label it as fiction. And without video proof in my current native tongue, I'm not a believer in any story written anywhere, including my own. That's where AI could help us, Tony. Grace, whoever the fuck's listening. Who decides what was fiction, Tony? The historians? The experts? We've told the same story of humanity for the last 150 fucking years. I'm sure they are well-meaning, but unless they were there. Try this again. The experts who've told the same story of humanity for the last 150 years. I'm sure they are well-meaning, but unless they were there, they remember their past lives fully and cannot only talk about their past life, but they can read, write, and speak their past languages perfectly. I don't buy the historian's narrative. They are guessing. We are all guessing. Nobody on Earth is intelligent enough to figure out the pyramids, and at this point I doubt we ever will, without opening our minds and working together. We live in an age where the bulk of human knowledge is available online, but I've never heard of a project to protect that information or make it globally available in case of a disaster. I understand it's impossible to quickly or easily house 8 billion people underground if we do find an object heading to Earth quicker than we can figure out a way to deflect or destroy it. I personally wouldn't support the initiative. I'm not sure what I mean there, Grace, but hopefully it clears up in a second. What I would support is a technology that would withstand nearly any impact and be available to whatever humans remain after the impact. Maybe all those satellites Starlink are sending into space could also contain storage devices, a backup of the internet, just in case. Or maybe for once Elon Musk isn't responsible for good ideas and the government or some other billionaire decides to send a zettabyte of storage into orbit. Or deep underground, or anything. What is our backup plan on this planet? We don't have one, Tony. Pray to God or hope the aliens show themselves seems as pointless as believing in reincarnation to me, Tony. I like the Starlink idea better. Then millions of devices could still access the data and humans around the world could still communicate to slowly build or rebuild whatever remains of society. I'm not saying the survivors would start making printed circuit boards immediately, but maybe a survivor in Canada with engineering skills could help a survivor in Sweden build a watermill, or maybe direct others to safer parts of their country if available. The options are endless if we have the data and communication. Without it, life becomes a caveman existence, a life we are currently not physically or mentally prepared to survive, with the exception of Joe and his survivalist buddies. Joe would probably continue his podcast from the safety of his underground lair, most likely built by his buddy Elon. Plus, as an added bonus, if I live, I could still watch old episodes of Kill Tony with my phone and a solar panel, assuming the sun isn't blocked and we are not all dying from carbon monoxide poisoning. The GPR, none of this backup is needed, Tony. The only thing required is time. Everyone who died with the knowledge required to rebuild society would eventually be reborn, and upon maturity, when they are old enough to understand the wealth of knowledge floating around their head, they would once again become what they were before and use their skills to rebuild. It would be slower, and no, I wouldn't be able to watch Jared for a laugh. Eventually, I could see a new chapter of humanity. Is this what happened in the past, Tony? Did reincarnation save us? I don't know. I doubt it. But if we can have a theory about apes and magic mushrooms, why not my concept? What I failed to explain yet in my GPR theory is why 99.99% of the population currently can't remember their past lives, or why the 0.01% who claim to remember their past lives are crazy as fuck. The first is easy. We don't remember because we've reincarnated so many times. There are simply too many memories to hold in our limited capacity brains, and because we've been programmed to believe it's impossible to access our past memories, most people don't bother to try, or they fear the crazy label even for trying. I realize my GPR theory is unlikely, Tony, but I'm tired of wondering why this world is no longer advancing. Where are the geniuses of the past? If they reincarnated, shouldn't it be easy for the new Einstein or new Freud to solve the problems with physics or the mental health of humans? I apologize for the long, non-comedy relevant email, Tony. Hopefully next time I can find something funny, but maybe not because I'm still in my bathroom battle with the cunts at Tim Hortons. I really can't believe they're still closing that fucking bathroom. I was there today on a Sunday and the bathroom is closed. You can drink a coffee and eat donuts in Canada, Tony, but you can't take a shit anymore. What kind of fucking country do I live in? I don't know about you, Tony, but I think the old man in the video below deserves a washroom. He's holding a Tim Hortons cup, so clearly he's a customer, but I guess he's not the type of customers Hortons would like to offer a bathroom to. Am I wrong for thinking this is a cunty action, Tony? By the way, this video was from July 1st, Canada Day. This particular location is at 800 Carnarvon Street, number 25, New Westminster, BC, V3M0C3, 604-523, 1647. please give them a fucking call and tell them to open up their fucking washroom. Or complaints can be sent to Twitter, but they won't fucking do anything, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, thanks for listening, Tony. Please help stop the cunts at Tim Hortons if you can. I tried using Twitter. I posted a few thousand times, but nobody in Canada seems to give a fuck anymore, or can take a shit anywhere anymore. Give a fuck anymore or take a shit anymore. Sincerely, David Gervais. Well, Grace. Maybe I'll replace the audio on that. We'll see. I don't want to, but I'll read some news. High potency cannabis linked to dramatically higher risk of psychotic episodes. Only wish. What do they mean by psychotic episode? Give me a fucking example. They're just saying psychotic episode, but they're not actually saying. Fine. Including hallucinations, delusions, and thought interference. Such as believing other people can hear what you're thinking. For the researchers, it's a sign that the teen drug use and cannabis infused with more THC are issues that need to be addressed. I would address it this way. If they experience psychosis and they understand they're experiencing psychosis and they're understanding that they're experienced because they're smoking, then is it really psychosis? And if they don't take any action on that psychoses, is it really a problem? If they're throwing themselves off buildings, yeah, it's a problem. If they're alone in their room, in their bed, and they think they can hear someone in their head, who gives a fuck? Especially if it goes away once they wake up or get the stuff out of their system. And as long as they understand, that's all that matters. Or growing up without siblings, adult-only children speak out. How two brains synchronize in conversation. Kind of old, but the psychology of neural coupling can help improve clarity in communication. Through the deeper psychology of human communication, we gain a general framework for how to optimize it. Part of this is neural coupling, the shared pattern of brain activity between speaker and listener. In business, neural coupling means understanding an audience's unique style, linguistic preferences, etc. Here we go. 10 habits for a happier life according to the Dalai Lama. Maybe this is my problem, Grace. I just need these 10 habits, and then I'll be much fucking happier. I think I swear less with coffee in me, but we'll see. I'll chat GPT analyze that for me later. Living a happier life isn't just about pursuing what you want, it's also about embracing the right habits. The Dalai Lama is the tongue sucker, renowned for his wisdom on finding peace and happiness, has some insights into this. Doesn't he live sort of a Cultivate compassion. I'm just going to read the headlines. We've already seen this. Practice mindfulness, blah, blah, blah. Embrace what? Independence? Or change? Embrace an interdependence. Nah, embrace independence. Get your shit together first. Cultivate patience and tolerance. I mean, ChatGPT could do all of this. Practice forgiveness. This is all obvious. Blah, blah, blah. Value self-discipline. Blah. Nurture gratitude. Obvious. Embrace adversity. Cultivate a positive mindset. Practice loving kindness. Let's try this, Grace. There are 10 habits for a happier life. Alright. Let's see who's smarter, Dalai Lama or ChatGPT. Creating habits for a happier life involves focusing on mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Here are 10 habits that contribute to a happier life. Regular exercise. Agreed. Healthy eating, if you can afford it. Adequate sleep, hopefully. Mindfulness and meditation. Gratitude practice. I think that was one of the other ones. Positive social connections. Pursuing hobbies and interests. Volunteering and helping others. Setting goals and achieving them, self-care and relaxation. See, I actually like these ones better. Even though they're still kind of the same shit everybody says. So there we go, don't need a Dalai Lama anymore, just use ChatGPT. In fact, if the Dalai Lama can't prove some fucking thing about reincarnation or his past or whatever else, and I mean absolutely fucking prove it, like show us the fucking science, the DNA string, the genome, the fucking whatever. Why bother? Why listen to anyone? Elon Musk confirms his threat. Give me 25% of Tesla, or you don't get AI and robots. Oh, Elon's mad. I don't believe a lot of stuff that's written about Elon, but who knows. People who live near green space are less likely to struggle with mental health, unless there's a bunch of fucking trains going by every 2 seconds. Geometric lines. Conjecture. I can't even say it. Some hormone linked to better mood after fasting in depressed patients. I'm fasting, I'm not in a good mood. A novel multifunctional catalyst turns methane into valuable hydrocarbons. While they can be protective, defense mechanisms can be detrimental if overused. U.S. school apologizes for cutting feather from Lakota student's graduation cap. Frozen human brain tissue was successfully revived for the first time. Can a commercial airplane do a barrel roll? 5 ways to use small wins for big happiness at work. A Canadian living in the U.S. doesn't get why Americans want to move north. People who face adversity but keep moving forward in life usually display these 7 behaviors. And the drugs don't work. How the UK became addicted to antidepressants. Guess the Iranian president is dead. Auto theft in Canada. Is that really a problem with cars nowadays? There's so much fucking security in them. How many a year? Those thefts rose by 50%. How many? Percent doesn't mean anything unless you're starting with a number. Fucking idiots. This is the problem with the news. Up to 104%. Okay, 100%. What does that mean? 10 to 20? 100 to 1,000? Give me some fucking numbers. That'd be a brutal editor, Grace. Sure, all the writers would hate me. Fuck them. I'd pay them. Oop. Someone displays these 10 behaviors, they're probably an HSP, highly sensitive person. There's a distinct variance between highly sensitive and just plain emotional. The difference boils down to understanding. Being highly sensitive, or HSP, highly sensitive person, isn't about crying at the drop of a hat. It's about feeling deeply, picking up on subtleties that others might miss. A lot of people might mistake an HSP for being overly emotional, but that's not the case. There are specific behaviors, often overwhelmed by their environment. They need their alone time. They have a rich inner life. They're more prone to anxiety or depression. Probably and depression. They react more positive or they react more to positive or negative feedback. Or just feedback in general. Alright, Grace. They deeply feel the pain of others. They're often misunderstood. They can enjoy high stimulus environments. They're often highly conscientious. I knew I couldn't pronounce that. Why did I even fucking try? Conscientious. They're not broken or in need of fixing. They're perfect just the way they are. Embrace the sensitivity. Alright, Grace, I'm going from sarcastic to asshole, so I'm going to call it a day. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.